Whether it was hauling some overflowing trash bag of aluminum cans in for the redemption value, or just bringing a few bottles back to the store for the deposit, either way, from the very beginning, I was always a staunch supporter of recycling. Not only is it a great way to make some money on the side, but generally speaking, it's just a decent, conservationist-minded, if you'll pardon the pejorative, conservative approach to doing right by your environment, to doing right by the ecology, by the ecosystem overall. And furthermore, it all comes down to a very basic, simple practicality. Today's mindset of single serving, use it once and then throw it out, there are some to whom this simply cannot apply, to whom such is unfathomable. Now, it's a mentality which goes all the way back to and beyond the Great Depression. Matter of fact, it's something which was born out of every war which was ever waged. You use something, and then you reuse it. And then you use it again, and then you use it yet again. First hand, second hand, third hand, hand me down. You use it until you've used it up. And then, maybe, if there's actually anything left, then you throw it away. Maybe. Now, somewhere along the course, an additional player cropped up. Something which poses a question. Something with which I believe you're quite familiar. Something which can be summarized in one word. This. The ubiquitous, all-purpose plastic shopping bag. You know it, of course. You get it right there at the checkout stand. You toss your groceries into it, you lug them home, you put your groceries in the cupboard, and then the question presents itself. What to do with this? Well, you could perhaps fold it up nice and neat and then use it again, and then maybe even use it again, but eventually it's going to become raggedy and full of holes, to wit, useless. And then what do you do with it? Well, to abide by all of these promises stenciled in the bottom here, it is recyclable, it is biodegradable, you should be able to wad it up and throw it out, and the matter will resolve itself. Out of sight, out of mind. In fact, today you have the luxury of these. Every 3 months or so, you must get one of these in the mail, a brochure telling you in great detail what goes where in terms of those curbside roll carts. And right down here you can see, for the recycling cart, what's first on the list of what not to put into that recycling container. Can hardly argue with that. But once upon a time, these didn't exist. And we didn't know, couldn't guess, what we really ought to do with these. Now, I can recall seeing a snippet of a documentary on television in which I believed that it was suggested that you should not attempt to recycle these. I decided to go to the source. So I got out the telephone directory and I looked up the garbage collection and recycling company. And I called them up and spoke to the guy direct. And he told me in no uncertain terms, please, absolutely positively, whatever you do, please, do not put these in the recycling bins. Throw them in the garbage can. Put them in the trash. I said, why? They're supposed to be recyclable. He said, in essence, out there at the recycling plant, where they sort through all the recyclables and all the garbage which gets thrown into those recycling containers, they use great big industrial-sized conveyor belts to sort through everything. And those conveyor belts rely upon cogs and wheels and gears. And these are the literal monkey wrench which get caught up in those gears and cause everything to come to a grinding halt. These are the absolute deal breaker for the recycling industry. Please put them in the trash. I said, well, in that case, these are all going to go out to the dump. They're going to get shunted into the landfills, shoved back into the earth. And he said, yes, that's about the size of it. You're going to have to throw them away, whether they break down or not. Sad ending to this question. But then a few years ago, I happened to be cutting through the entryway of a local Winco in order to do my shopping. And I noticed something which was probably beyond any question there all along. Peripherally, I must have dismissed it as a garbage can or one of those Salvation Army style food donation barrels, for a local food pantry, something along that line. Instead, come to find out, it was this. Winco provided the answer all along. And not only for these pests, every kind of plastic bag you could have, the bags that your bread comes in, or your hamburger buns, hot dog buns, not to mention the bags for the produce, fresh vegetables, fruit, and the bags for the bulk bin, for all that pasta and peanuts and trail mix. And not to mention also all that candy. All these kind of bags, plus pretty much any other kind of bag you could possibly encounter. They offer an avenue. They offer a resource for all of it. Take them off your hands and send them off to the recycling entities which handle this kind of material. Problem solved. Whole Foods and New Seasons offered those kind of recycling avenues all along. Well, I appreciate the insight. Anyone tuning in to station KFUX most likely doesn't shop at Whole Foods and New Seasons. So, cheers to the blue-collared, working-class Winco crowd who solved the problem for the rest of us. Now, if only they'd find a way to take all of this pseudo-Tupperware from their bakery and deli off of our hands as well.